Good morning, and welcome to Nicole's Test Kitchen STEAM edition. Today is a very special STEAM. We are going to be talking about the census 2020. What is the census? Basically, it's counting. It's a counting of everyone who lives in the United States. Everybody. It counts every person living in the U.S. once and only once and in the right place. So Census Day 2020 was April 1st, 2020. So starting on that day, everyone should be counted. And so forms were sent out to houses, everybody living space. It was available to fill out online. You could call a number to be counted. And the deadline is September 30th. So if you haven't, or if your parents or people who you live with haven't done the census, everyone should be doing it. Why do we do the census? It actually was written into our Constitution, the U.S. Constitution. It mandates that everyone in the country be counted every 10 years. The first census was in 1790. And why do we do the census? Well, it's about fair representation. Every 10 years, the results of the census are used to reapportion the House of Representatives, determining how many seats each state gets. So based on the population of California, done after this census, will determine how many representatives we have to represent us in this state in DC, in the House of Representatives. So we want to make sure, California wants to make sure, our town wants to make sure that everybody gets counted, and that means everybody. It's also about redistricting, which means, redoing lines. So after each decade census, state officials redraw the boundaries of the congressional and state legislative districts in their states to account for population shifts. So we want to make sure that everyone who lives in Willits gets counted so that, again, we get fair representation not only in our state government, but in our federal government. And it's also about money, funding. Of course, lots of things are about money, but it's about $675 billion. So that is federal funding that gets sent out to all the different states, cities, towns, etc. about that is based on the census. It's based on the number of people living in a certain area. So the distribution of more than $675 billion in federal funds, grants, and support to states, counties, and communities are based on census data. The money is spent on schools, on hospitals, roads, public works, and other vital programs. So we want to make sure, again, and I'm going to keep re-emphasizing because it's very important, everybody counts, everyone counts, and so we want to make sure in our town of Willits, in our county of Mendocino, that everyone gets counted. Doesn't matter where you live, it doesn't matter who you are, what you do, rich or poor, you get counted. So if you haven't filled out a form, if you're an adult, if you're not an adult but you want to make sure that you get counted, make sure your adults know to do the census, and you can do it online at census.gov. You can do it by phone, or you can do it by mail. And so I've placed all of those links in the description so that you can get access to them if you or your family or whoever you live with hasn't done the census. So basically it's mandatory, but it can only be, it's mandatory. We want everyone, the government wants everybody counted so that, again, these things can be done, and you want to be counted so you make sure that you are, a part of that number, because you're very important. And everybody who lives in the United States is very important, so they should be counted. So it's very easy questions. Basically, the questions are about the people living where you live. One person who lives in the household is doing the counting and filling in the form, and it's basically filling in information about everybody who lives in that space in the form. So I have a map of the United States. You're looking at it backwards, because I haven't really figured out how to make it right side up. I actually figured it out today, but then the way I was able to figure it out, then I couldn't see what was going on. So you're looking at it backwards, but we're here in California. I grew up over on this side of the country. That's just a side note. But anyway, here is our United States. But I'm going to move this out of the way because I want to do a little counting with you. So let's talk about how, people are counted in the census. So I created a very special little town called Library Town, and wonderful artwork, but you get the idea. So here we have Library Town, and of course the very, very important building in Library Town is the library right here. But you can see I've tried to show different types of residences, of houses. So we have a house, we have apartment complex, we have a mobile home park, a duplex, and different types of houses, because everybody lives in could be different types of structures. And again, I'm going to emphasize this again and again and again so that we all get it in our heads. Everyone counts. Everyone. So let's do a little counting exercise. So some of the questions that they're asked, and basically there is 9 questions, and here's the sample ballot, and I'll read through the questions. And so each of these questions needs to be answered on everyone who lives in the house. So for example, you live with your mom, your dad, and 2 brothers, and you. So what would happen is one of the adults, either your mom or your dad, will fill out that information for each person living in the house. Doesn't matter how old they are, doesn't matter how young they are. So babies, kids, teens, adults, grandparents, older people, everyone who lives in that space is counted. And actually, and really, you have to the people filling out the form, either online, over the phone, or on the paper form, has to be thinking about who lived in your space on April 1st, in April of 2020, because that's what it's based on. So some of the questions, and they do get kind of specific, but again, it's very important. It's not used to discriminate against anybody, but it's very good to know the makeup of our country. Again, everyone in our country is important, and in our country is very diverse. We have lots of different types of people living in our country, and everyone should be counted. So some of the questions, so they want to know how many people live in the space. So you live in your apartment, how many people live in that apartment? Is it 1, 2, 5, 3? So you put that number there. And then another question is, were there any additional people staying there on April 1st that you did not include in question 1? So say, for example, maybe you had an uncle staying with you in April, but he's since moved to his own place. you still include him in the number. And then you type, what type of structure do you live in? Do you live in a house, an apartment, a mobile home? So you mark that box. And they ask for some personal information. What's your telephone number? And they ask that in case there's extra questions that the Census Bureau wants to ask. And again, the information about each person. So they ask a name. They ask the sex. And their age, and again, everybody. So if you're a baby, if you're not a baby listening, but if you have a baby in the house, say they're 5 months old, they still count. So you include them in the count. And then there's some information about your race or your ethnic origin. And so you get to fill things out, and you can be as specific as you can. They try to give examples, but of course, they can't include everything in the example, but they give you space to write in. So if what you're seeing on the form doesn't really match your makeup, because, lots of us are made up of, lots of different things. For example, myself, I'm a mixture of things. So I would include everything that is made up of me. So, and you can be as specific as possible. So that is kind of the questions that are asked in the census. So let's do some counting. So we have Library Town here. And again, we've got houses, apartments, mobile homes, other duplexes, different types of living situations. And here are the people represented by my popsicle sticks, are the people living in Library Town. So let's just kind of, put together some groups of people living together. Maybe you have a couple who lives together. So we're going to put, they live in this house here. And then maybe we have 3 people who live in one apartment. Maybe 2 people in another apartment. And maybe 5 people who live in another apartment. And then maybe we've got a single person living in the mobile home park. And maybe we've got 3 people living in another mobile home. And maybe we've got a couple, 2 people who live in one of the duplexes, and 4 people who live in the other duplex. And then one of our last houses, we've got 4 people. So this is the makeup of our library town, and we've got a mix of races, ethnicities, origins, ages. And so we are the census people, and we are counting. So we've got to count all of these people. So we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26. So we have 26 people, all ages, all races, ethnicities, living in Library Town. So that is the census number for our Library Town, 26. And I hope I remember that number right. If I said it wrong, then you'll let me know. So that is our little exercise today, our counting exercise. And it's something that maybe you can practice at home, and make sure you talk to the adult in your house, or if you are the adult, make sure that you've been counted. Again, I've included links in the description that get you to that census. And again, I'm going to emphasize again, everyone counts. Everyone. And I'm going to say it again, everyone counts. So we want to make sure in Willits, we want to make sure in Mendocino County that everyone gets counted so that we can get all the funding that we can for our town and for our county. And also just to be represented, we want to make sure that we are represented in our state government and in our federal government. Everyone's voice. So I have a little fun thing that I found through the census. They have a fun song. And so I'm going to play a little video for you singing the song because my voice isn't that great right now. So I'm going to I have to pull up another device so that you can hear it. I'll try to see if you can see the video, but I'm not sure that works. But I wanted to make sure that you could hear the song. Again, I have links in the description. Let me move Library Town right now. And I'm going to play it for you in English. And I'm also going to play it for you in Spanish. So let me read the lyrics in English. And you'll hear it. But verse 1, the census counts people in homes big and small. You count if you're tiny. You count if you're tall. And the chorus goes, because everyone counts in the US of A. Everyone counts in their own special way. The census counts everywhere. Count all who live with you. Sisters, uncles, grandmas, and your newborn babies too. Because everyone counts in the US of A. Everyone counts in their own special way. We count all your neighbors and we count all your friends. Until we count you, the counting won't end. Because everyone counts in the US of A. Everyone counts in their own special way. Counting is easy. Counting is fun. Everyone counts, and you count as one. Because everyone counts in the US of A. Everyone counts in their own special way. So those are the lyrics in English. I've also included a link for the lyrics in Spanish. I won't say them because I'm not very good with the Spanish language yet. But I wanted to make sure that you can hear it. Because again, everyone counts. And if you speak, a language other than English and Spanish, I hope you'll still enjoy because you can still, if you're understanding me right now, you still are counted. So let me play this video for you. And I will let the song go.
And your newborn babies too, 'cause everyone
Counts in the US of A. Everyone counts in their own special way. Count all your friends until we count you. The counting won't end. In the US of A. Everyone counts own special way. Counting is fun. Everyone counts, and you count as one.
everyone counts in the US of A. Everyone counts in their own special way. 1, 2, 3, 4. Everyone counts in the US of A.
Everyone counts in their own special way. All right, that was our English versions, and let me.
Great preschool resources. Visit.
I won't listen to the end of that one. All right, so let me find our Spanish version. Okay, move. Okay, there we go.
Acompáñanos a cantar. Todos cuentan.
El censo cuenta gente en casas o apartamentos. El censo cuenta todos los que viven adentro porque
Todos.
cuentan en Estados Unidos. Todos cuentan censo cuenta al bebé y también a tu hermanito, que todos cuentan en Estados Unidos, todos cuentan y contamos unidos.
Contamos tus vecinos, sean muchos o poquitos. Contamos a todos, grandes o chiquitos, porque todos cuentan en Estados Unidos.
Todos cuentan y contamos unidos.
Contar es fácil, contar es divertido. El censo te cuenta a ti, también cuenta conmigo, porque todos cuentan en Estados Unidos.
Todos cuentan y contamos
And that was the end of our...
Obtén más recursos.
So, counting is easy, counting is fun. Everyone counts and you count as one. So, use the links in the description to find out more about the census and why it's important. If you haven't filled out the census, or if your family hasn't filled out the census, make sure you get it done. Again, I've included 3 ways for you to do it. You can do it online at census.gov. You can do it by phone, or you can do it by paper. And I've given the links again in the description on how to do each of those ways. And you also may have seen people coming around and doing the census. There are census workers, and they are out trying to reach people who may not have heard about it, either online or other ways. Maybe they didn't get their form in the mail, but they want to again reach everyone kind of living out all in our town, because what have I been saying all through this video? Everyone counts, and so we want to make sure that we are all counted. So again, the deadline right now is September 30th. It may get extended due to the current situation, but make sure if you're hearing this video and you haven't done it, to do it now, because you are important. You count. Everyone counts. So thank you for this special Nicole's Test Kitchen STEAM edition. I promise you I'll get messy next week, and we'll see you then. Hope you have a great day. And it's Hispanic Heritage, Latinx Heritage Month, so celebrate. And also, this coming Saturday, the 19th, is Constitution Day. So, and it's also, this year is the 100th anniversary of the ratification of the Amendment for Women's Right to Vote. So, I'm giving all these messages, civic messages. Get counted in the census. Know about the Constitution. Know everything about the Constitution, and celebrate Constitution Day, which is the 19th. And also celebrate being able to vote, because it's a very important civic duty. It's if you want your voice heard, you vote. And if you need a registration form, they are available at the library. We have them in our outside rack, so you can grab one if you need to fill it out. So, thank you again, and I hope you have a great rest of your day, a great rest of your week. And if you're not sick of me yet, you can see me again on Friday with Nicole's Test Kitchen Craft Edition. We'll see what kind of trouble I can get into, right? Okay, thanks very much, and have a great day.